amra ahanti na dem boko
enye boko sa
ade hwan tata wo
di kan ye teacher for a aye adwuma bosome nson ene akiri ebi aye adwuma bosome nwotwe ebi aye adwuma bosome nkono a besi ne yenti omuka
sa
yenti omuka na menu abi wo minya tell me we am the number be my producers.
Okay.
So ochina kura na mo betima friend na. Ya. Ama abrantia wako school na nida so se obinya kakra. E de akofi. No de akohwe busua. Sa teacher adwuma yin so de bebre ni so awo. Ene na sefo.
Ne so mu yan kwara.
Golden. Ya mo say. Ene obi a wako school e di mfie 9 school mu no. Wadane srefo osrade adesre ne kura anya ya se sebe omo yese omo kwakoye oye kira na so omo atente so kokwa na de nsem bebre omo ko ministry of education ye pamom Emma director GS ka se enyo no na form monsieur
na reduce wo no
yes monsieur mre nyina no Chapter 6 of your Constitution, it can be a friend of directive principles of state policy.
Yes.
Trese abayen twaso nti we kwa we ba betwaso. If will be November, if will be December, if will be October, if will be January. Oba adena oma e form de dada oma ye adwuma wa ban mu no. Oba onka se wa ban na abaso nti wo yom nyina edi no akofa wo de aba beti omka. Business ankofo no adane sebe asrefo munam. I think that one of these days almost a demonstration me try anya date no na mediama woni watifo na godon. The second issue I have me answer am about this main subject matter eye yenuano NDC for na ye amamra constitution e kire say your political party.
Yes.
Na political party no enye ne niema sene fata nema edi your constitution so pepepe. Okay, in case be a friend of the Republic versus Yebi and Avalifo. Okay. Yes, say police will be because we are NDC for sika 10,000 Ghana cedis or so. No. Court neka say the first say a NDC interest among call mine into a mock mine who then penny for crab baby say a woodnam enna yen we are.
What's
I think say seni NDC fonya omoka baumia eka Ken eka your friend is saying Yira Brian eka Dr. Yose Duchum eka engineer sem na say anomodi enso ba yesi eka.
Of course
I think say we need a government that is focused to deliver for the country. The MPP as a party ni party a destructive party then. And as a opposition, I pay a bamwa by a pamwa, but because ye jiddy said your more yeno, or Montiasi and Montimini, and don't see a bomb pie. And we wouldn't allow or sit down, say yanka or more party in Wasem for a national chairman to cause a distraction in the party to affect the government. Because chief of staff, episode co-president, we shouldn't run away from that.
Yes.
Asi don't get your general ensunya obeko.
Say yambo chawo kon
na candidate nankasa.
Can you imagine?
Good. That is where I'm driving to.
Thank you.
Candidate now within the call election. We win no. Told the country to thank the country. No kura no ye mampenini nim say ni mane doso into onkoni boom boom boom. What I say okobi. No abefie. Now the oba too thank you to distract your party and your government. And your party na say and can be confused you do entry and funny. But they affect the government, no? Because there is a clear direction say a jubilee for Julius, J for J. Jubilee for Julius. What I say? Enti abema obia otai Julius e chinsu beka se papa. Uchi for staff eduma no odi aye dog ya check. Odi anena na offices be a check. There be also tisi from. Ebasana they will be thinking about their own personal ambition, which is fine with them. I don't have a problem. But me busa say so omokoso ye na the government business na ekwa atwea. Where lies teacher for ye come ti omuya omutifie. Where their fate? Who should be able to call the education minister to order, to ensure and call the finance minister to order? And I may background will be catching and say, you're out of force in your contesting. Now, if it festers like this, internet make a choice. NDC near a political party and can say every time when we was praised that what best when you be MPP for you can't say you pursue a turn in term and you be a form. And say all person will be a forms now your personal aspiration. Let the party open the forms. No beyond funny human to not buying them cost because NDC and then security go down. Majority say what be few with security. And you see can come. And you can't go down. Critical. We must be speaking to this clearly. No, but so what Asiedu Katia wants to do is alien to their party. He must be called to order. Julius Debran so TC from Abino and Ejurebuno. Let's say Julius Debran so your work. The blonde is also treating up. No, also got down for us here. And Julius Debran go down. It's a man Nazi beam. So I get to be Nazi. That's it. Also, oh, please, we shouldn't be doing that. Or a national chairman had a national chairman candidate. So are you saying only a national chairman who call election 2022 today winning our thing? As a candidate. Okay, let me advise Charles was it's our certificate region. But also started there was the country passport. Julius here. The whole region. And you see, if you do this, Julius Yenipa. I'm not and unim say media about Julius Debra me bonechi wa happen. Yes, due to the fiat no sign. But this time me second of no. Say NDC for asem na me omodia ni na minia. Omo asem de Kofi Asidu entry meka. Enunti na meka ho asem ne no. Ya de a say any concern Ghanaian, whether you are NDC, whether you are NPP, whether you are PPP, CPP, or you Ghana ninkwa wutimudia, you should be concerned about this because it's going to distract the government and the many pan what children. Apinisi me say ene oko gonja memo sumde now. That is where the focus and the synergies should be there. You see, and you know the dangerous aspect of it. This is the president's home region. For Christ's sake. Baby, the president is even thinking to bring solutions and net Tamaleta Technical University. Look at what happened. And Kwalaso what to school fees in Motesuya demonstration. Police was a mebo. No, the police should be called to order. You're IGP, you know, where they are bro. Yes, bro. This is the time I saw my home so Akwetia, we saw your action. Your men were on ground. What happened in Tamale today? It's appalling. I will show videos now. Oh, what are you telling me? Just me buy no, and then the whole day me went dreamy my basa. Because of the current state, maybe President for time. I remember say somewhere 2007, oh baby, and 2006 or started. I say one more potential mutual contest as flag bearers of the party. No, if you pick early, and when you show that expression, say it could be a picky early, or picky earlier, you get you out of his government. Are you suggesting say Sidin Ketano Mark and they are picking too early? You see. The measure now the better so no critical. Okay. I always come here, okay, as Akwetia, and I give one major blame of Akwetia, which MPP lost to the presidential election committee. Okay. Yes. I mentioned say me Dr. Baumia, me Kennedy, me Brian, me engineer, from Japan, me Dr. Yawose Duchum. Makofa form was a mammy campaign. What be that? Going to spend these millions into the we were not even concentrated over there. Obinya ko maybe a she's will support any of the candidate. Ni nyuma oyebia impose we yini yem say or ye dia boa asumedua. Everyone will think say we do Dr. Baomi Ejuma because we file it. So it is a critical dent and was during that heat of the campaign after last days and then call for file. Yeah. So Dr. Baomi adi ni pay by. Dr. Brian tampon de nipa de buy. She Kennedy de nipa buy. Engineer nipa buy. Yes. And that's a case of oh no de mebaso. Okay. The issue you've raised, you see, on Assembly can say we shouldn't apologize for his sector. No. He may be right, he may be wrong. Acquired to say besepa any konya hahain. Godon, yet tasene banyansa for. the entire makers say tasani banyan
my mind na kwa ba na ya ma ba ho
and me hit
da bi me say me ball break akra bi da bi enti I will have to so aba I will na te say
adumo
ukọ adwuma ho
Dabi
aha o na mkrom kakra
traffic akra na ende wo community na ndem amba bi ndem ya pa
asa wo pa ka ba ntem
say ka
no ha bi so bi afra do na me ka say wa
traffic akra wo community
da so me bo nyum kakra ka bi TV
enjoy no
fine
come
yes come enti no so far sister mu to say
oh adum bibia bokono pawe ebe echia ahwefo ne yetifo na mechia me constituency kpon katamaso
we dem am ncha me constituency enya sa she dey problem me me srewo abremfo a wa ha nyina abremfo a etie yen ni titiriw the communications director of the constituency Douglas Adomako or your catechist basri ni
okay
na kwa ne betena radio so no keka bible verse ni bom na o kire enema rather Douglas Adomako me won be that Douglas Adomako too much
ya fa number ma
srewa abremu so de maka che o se nkro ne do so hwa ya mobo ba ti ni nyansa abremfo nyina ya cheom me am nia Austin okay srewa bro Austin o ya no so your communication director osumu
okay no all right mati yanko
meti am constituency kpo kata maso the only industrial friend saying a city in in Ghana industry in Yobatema industries we na konkata manso na yeden ewo but we are looking forward say eko inim no more multi-cronim no will benefit more from all these industries that no more do fi abonte by the bia be adwuma o constituency into the match am chairman matchia me secretary matchia all the wings the women's wing, youth wing, all the wings, all arms, every protocol be or bokata manso bia na duwe me chairman na before me no in the demonstration be a course so will be constituency
yes we no mo assembly what said ana
demonstration be a course so will me constituency na they be America say constituency industries womb inyama bebre den ewo ye fene say constituency ni mo but with all the things ye wo constituency ni mo no the constituency is under developed. It is a wako asanko biom to
gold.
A coin of a first of baby a gold no kwampo bukra bedding e be fu to gold 2822 honso a coin ne etia na eden e sana kpon kataman so eden aka koye say ye the 4 years we e ka ho e ma MP na oteso na kire say kpon so no NDC atena so 36 solid good years
enya ho ne MP na ebusa na question otwe
mu no and you see
ono wa bebusa do say
that some company say untin in campo e wo constituency ni mo so 4 years we kan wa na kire say NDC atena sa seat so 36 good years and sometimes I get surprised and I ask myself say again nebema Oma Santo Aba ama NDC for this time because me kai say time na ye campaign Dr. Mahmoud Baumia e ba be ye stakeholders say engagement any idea and when he came one of the major idea ha wo kataman so pa wo kronimu pa nsuo Godon, can you imagine for all these 36 years a brupo this water is a problem. Miso muni isio an industrial area like my constituency. Omuni isio and
Pokatamas of Polonia ho.
They be a hoka ho. But you have very say the assembly no e won bonkro ni wan kasa. Once say villages say den ehim and say Apollonia ni we mu de ene wo this side. But call pram
so you from God Asare-Bediako program ni din Ghana nti ene newukuo ya samba beta say no anwumre ba be di enkomo no Ghana nti ye so ahomache ba ye nkofie ene di tabobo musa neja ya samba beta say ene anwumre ye ba be di enkomo bebre na enkomo no doson MPP internal matters e wo hono mo de ekoso so abonten President Mahama esema okeka afidi wasisi kwapo die big push na big push ya die wase wodi kan kwa apologize to Ghanaians say wona mabonti be se musen futuro enam yemu se kumu dia susumane how because big push na ama construction koso across the country to see say Ghana kwan die who be to the next 24 months just say the next 2 years die and the Ghana Asare-Bediako Emma o my Ghana according to President John Dramani Mahama was a big push no no galamse hu komo so koso pa galamse hu enkomo koso a Calibre for conference for so the mo se ba beto abonte a enra ni ene ye de enkomo no aba fourth estate for so ayo investigations bi aba ama o maka se NDC for na ye galamse no Erastus Asare-Bediako so wono so eja some case last year before my pay ku fa kwa ekufie no obola ba se galamse hu nkobodie Ghana central for na wajesi na beti so a wo di galamse hu djuma pa to ban panyi ebola ba so nti okoso de djuma se de ese na efata waka wose forest bebrebe na IGP committee no na task force no kwa abontin na omo pam NDC for the free hormone no o man panyi ma ebeka wo ebra wo share media for the say IGP abon na IGP task force crime polo omun the difference between small scale mining and illegal mining and until no say IGP abon dia the task force omo da ensan kofi en back to headquarters omun fi gbon according to Erastus Asare-Bediako nanka IGP task force no ye adwuma bi boa ema enema koso unfortunately enam say o mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ejani tumi so akaso monsa enkofi because na NDC national organizer Joseph Yamina di ka command warning wa kwetani ni potem say woma IGP task force no enkotena fie no o mampanyi so according to the orders of Joseph Yamina no wa bom say o monkotena fie o monkotena fie no forest na ko mbese wuri kakra no according to reports no NDC for asa ategu forest no so ama forest ne so mo twene se owianam we so da no watwe we so da no watwe we so da no watwe o mampanyi aka wo se wono die ya sase ne yesai no ye be se ya sase ne se yebenyi sika ne nkwa ba no ne nkwa de a ese na nya hwe according to mampanyi Mahama se asase de be sei no ne sika be ko maga na mu die a ene ko de ka enya hwe eye enkro be nyina koso and a report by said the domestic borrowing akosro no enye asam ketwa ye no se bedi hu enkomo enne anwumre na enkomo ba ko bi wo ho me ye ni kakra me tie di kakra na ebi afina me aloma chan menya time na me de document aba na makenkan me de constitution na ato ho na makenkan madoso ko kakra madoso ko kakra busafo memi ye Ghana ni te se won so Ghana ni no me jidi se Ghana ehia wo te se de Ghana so hu hia me no ye ni ba bia akọ ye kokra be san aba me jidi se uswa kakra na wo te se obi ye magistrate circuit court judge in fact wo te se obi ye clerk kra wo parliament wo court wa se be producer wo te a hu na ebuo mapa na ehu kra sa wum me say ya wo me na me show television you see. When was the last time high court judge? Some people as I said, we bush any cry high court judge and now a circuit court judge. How many times and a wound fee? So bush any a judge. Na some people as a year compa befia. How many times and a high charge now you be so in why you follow? How many times and a wound fee? Say ye biaba and now wedding biaba a bedin to biaba program biaba and now even a fashion cry. How often do you see them? And so we in the party saying ya. Menoka say be a nye 2012 presidential petition na nka wu say judge for be ensia eti ba bi bom say dawo te say yehu ni TV so no na wu bi sa ko buda in fact TV so kwa hwe pa na pictures na wu akiri na visuals no mu wu akiri. So you couldn't, even though you saw them, you couldn't really visualize them, sir. Couldn't make them out. Eye bibi ntra ye bu a judge for as individuals, as society, as court, each say as community, as a country. Ye bu ye da normal judge for because omo awesome koto nimu a eso otimi ede pepe ye adwuma ti yente hu mo system num de be ya dwe de say omo sedem no mu sua de mu hwo books mu saa kakra and that reverence is there na judge for who me can I'm talking about second court magistrate court judges and high court judges me also me can court of appeal me bacho. When was the last time you saw a Supreme Court judge personally, Philly? When was the last time? You tell whom? Once in a while, KCB na Oma Befem. Once in a while. In fact, say your money in your program can say cry and say, in a normal judge for Supreme Court judges and some bahonoma. One be twem say purpose kamani do money chisa utwe mota se de to kakra bia e boni din kamani nkoho biem tese program le pon ya na moko edidie kro mu nkodi bi ye bu wo sana ya ye wo mo ete bu wo mo ho afei what about the Chief Justice if you say Ghana bear we are see Chief Justice do say na about my Ghana kitu abi o afei ekoba ni sen enam adwen bone make it straight away adwen bone ase me fa wada say President Mahama eba no your opposition leader wakama Ghana fo nyina te say according to no President Mahama ni ND so mo standard no Ghana Judiciary no say they see kono enkoye ma wo mo na say ebetimi ayeye a agese ye de sakraye aba judicial system num na judicial system no so sakraye beba mu a agese the way Chief Justice no agese ye ni free ho this is sano entisa me preduasa ya no de mi team friends so no enye owu asem enye ekumasem even though omo party de omo kunkuma judge for the but enye wo mo na se ne yeka itinye ekumasem na momo no obeyuse any means necessary a change Chief Justice no ayi na fi ho e de foforo aba okan President Mahama no your opposition leader Esa Kan one only first person met free no as former president who was sworn in by Chief Justice. In fact, he was sworn in as by the Chief Justice as Freddie say vice president. He was sworn in as president July somewhere July about President he was sworn in by the Chief Justice as president. He was sworn in again 7th January 2013 sworn in as the president. And so he has been sworn in by the Chief Justice at least 3 times. That down was say and Nigeria court no muna bafom amma Supreme Court judges no ekra enkofo atuomudin enkofo atuomudin unanimous FC assembly na maintain for bia no da I just a former president of from unanimous FC name calling a supposed statesman calling the judiciary, the apex court, from say unanimous FC, because modi asaba kwa yanse bia nim emre bia support mo muni evidence bia modi koi ene ya tugu ye according to mwa kasa monster ma modi ko court no ye busa mo no kwa mo calculate a still na o mampanye ku fado e wini 50% plus 1 no and so still mo se ye nyima mo ya busa se dun ketia e wo Supreme Court say according to your own calculation, forget about the Electoral Commission at the by your own calculation, because you had agents everywhere. According to your own calculation, and this party no munya saying. I said the say judge for me say mo ya maha say ye be challenge ye be ye be sacred. There was tell me here then. Because we came to challenge the constitutionality of the declaration of the resource. Constitutionality of the declaration of the resource. You know then. And the course. And the Ebra NDC win election is say pe Ghana ni bia nanadwe bebia. Ghana ni bia na me no penti bebia bebia. But Ghana ni bia nanadwe mu dawo bia hu say Chief Justice President Mahama Ebeyinedi. Oyinedi wiya obeyi Electoral Commission chairperson and impedifo obeyi omadi. Ye nyane ye ni because adwen bone na ye so clear. Ma fansie mo kalabonten. Afe waba. Ya beta de say wo se ya holmo wade beta say for kochofo say o mampanye nyankra ta miensa say petition say for the removal of the Chief Justice. Okay. Petition ya be day you say o manpanyi ehwem we be Council of State o follow man na prima facie case has been established o mo establish ya better committee after better say we say prima facie case has been established or have been established against the Chief Justice. It will take committee abusafo ebesin ne prima facie case bia ni hono ma o ma establish ya yahu mopa yenko busa di pakra de asemato se Chief Justice Mrs. Getuto Kunuaraba yenko busa de say prima facie case ben ne say President Mahama so to establish against e bi ni ho omoboa abale twantro committee no friend say his lordship Gabriel Paman Scott ono so ni committee no ye challenge mo say prima facie case by and President Mahama say we to establish here what the come na wo mo omumie mie nhwo fa na ne ehu bi eni ho omoboa after assembly koba assembly ko we me se bi entity hunu no nyame ade be kire ko me se da fa one by one me de nyame ase se ene lo abotwo so ha te ne bi so se bia wo de akra be ka ho na akogu enema miensa 3 petitions and the call you eti 3 petitions ni wie na kefa report ni na me composite report because we can borrow some nyini nyina ahwe ena no ho no a na omudi oma chantade kama e dia call Jubilee House mama ni a omo say ye wie baako eti baako ye wie no ye the report bre president na na me dia say ne say aya was west were gone yet the presidential commission say omo investigate eti ebra na omo te homo no e can imagine say commission to no omo ni Ghana police for din komo wi na komo asomo tade say president ye the Ghana police for din komo wi there is a report about no conversation no jaba 2 days later now ani national security force no de no so aba ankora assemble no na de eya avreho emu ovremo ne say first report of the call no ma na wia ni achokrata you say ya dismiss Chief Justice but me ba kitu abi the report now omo de call no sa petition na omode ejina so investigation whatever no. That wasn't the first petition received by the president according to the date also. Eti na President Mahama enya petition ni bi ba ko bi February. And when you raise so March. Ade no man nye February ni the first. Number the March the first. Especially whereby allegations against the Chief Justice no ba ko che say assembly beto na nima na se ko di ba ko aso di ba ko di the next one memu odi the ba late the first it no allegation ho it no di ho for na se no ya do di ho for dia e se the committee so mudi for memu on to fasisi afi omo de krata ba bontin Felix Kwacho Fosu e de krata ba bontin na president put sign na say an no I think say Dr. Callistus say president say wajani 2 million so AG Chief Justice Eddie as Chief Justice and then also as Justice of the Supreme Court. So petition na mo de ba o de command no omo cast president the map committee ni say omo investigate no as Chief Justice. Yeah, I said they should investigate her as a judge of the Supreme Court or justice of the Supreme Court. Because according to procedure and process, no, there are two different things. Lawyer Pachobiti and no correct me. According to 146, no, several person will use Supreme Court judge. Committee ne I was say judge from you no let naso. You Supreme Court judge there. The same 146 no say some person will use judge dia petition bi ba e was a judge from miensa e na tena so 146 zadete enti we judge from mienu e na tena so which means ya no strictly no na for the removal of the Chief Justice, not the removal of a justice of the Supreme Court, because justice of the Supreme Court the mandate different from Chief Justice. Chief Justice there no administrative. Eti eye den na wutimi gina article 146 na baby ese some person yi Chief Justice dia ese oma committee ni judges ne mienu for Chief Justice ba judge dia eye 3 judges na say water committee no so etad na we no typical say. So for me at worst the president maka ne say watimi wa dismiss Chief Justice no in the position as Chief Justice but not as a judge. Ba communication e buy no sa ne buy minim adwene etechire said na they were in a hurry and I say incompetence na adokro mo say enokobua intino mu the difference between the removal of a Chief Justice and the judge minim say no ma there so na atwabom na say to me ne tentable so mo eso kwaso so a minim me see da me boss wi a highlight we a comedies and a medema mesabem la go sebotwe ya mo adwo akwaba
afagodon mejo so na bia bokode
nyame adom ahode ewo ho
de nyame ase we ka dia answer na meche abusuafo no ma menka bibi kakra nkan dia na wo kan sisia ho no
okay
about the difference between the removal of the Chief Justice and the removal of a justice of the Supreme Court.
Me that's pa no constitution wa
good if we can hear the establishment of the premier facie case na say uyi Chief Justice ne free ha Constitution in Article 146 chair say a CJ na e be determine whether or not there is a premier facie case.
Yes.
Not just say whether or not in so or say petition no cry kuma na. But a ban the removal of the CJ na nkasa intimi decide the premier facie case
yes.
Then the Council of State and the BEM. But what I say is person who the office of the Chief Justice is different from the office of a Supreme Court judge.
Exactly.
Intino tu ninia no untimi mfa abubo ba kunku enumami
enonye law
there be enye law the law ne kire say uyi CJ na ekwan ya yefaso yi CJ no different from ekwan ya yefaso eyi Supreme Court judge. But in this case no NDC if we say omo pre omo ho ne background ade ma say na ye political campaign na omo de ye say omo ba omo be yi ma me get through if you want no and na ma ho prepare and that's what pentamint no money abobo baako ye say
and the bar mam you know
which is illegal and which is unconstitutional.
Exactly.
Nti no we dey na me kaka dey no but yen fa akonya ne enchia ahwefo ne etiefo ni na Tuesday nyumre dey ye be pensem nim na ma me sha
and Wednesday no say enra na house be try your Tuesday
we say na originally we say me back Tuesday
yes
and na producer say me bra Wednesday
in fact me na me insist say my bra Wednesday
okay nti Tuesday na wo ma
I know
nti ye be sha say free baby a uwie na about the removal of the CJ.
Okay.
Now you see idea go do me person me can say emrano even the district court the lowest court no kra no ye the rules na ye adwuma of district court.
Of course.
Untimi nka say the lowest court into uremu akoye dia opebia. Into the district court even has rules. Into the do kogina court you be say are you guilty or not guilty. Sometimes obi any to say but need ye wo pan we di bone no so still na be say me man fato ho ye nia me sure say need the immigration case here e ko
na akwada damfin
me say you obi adwen ne say adwen say imrante no mugina court no the evidence is clear so no mudi bone no so because of the tenets of fair trial and the provisions of the 1992 constitution intino hwe kwaye de omo fam ye kwaye so omo bra next week omo bra next 2 weeks e banana republic anka because evidence dey so clear intino de omo gina court so e hese na nye de omo gum there be imran nye adwuma sa it na ye the presumption of innocence even kura ne se okochi nipa ne kura se nipa ne di bone ne kura na there is the presumption of innocence chere se nipa no ondi bone ne ye until say court wo to me ebeji atum say nipa no we di bone no na in fact oba mbrem a ye wo mbra no wo in two folds. There were the procedural law and there were the substantive law. Procedural law ne chere say processes kwanya ye faso e de ye nyama bi for instance o person obi kokota wontimi mfaka e nkokot o nwura court room say obi awia misika ntina me ba be bojaja amane bi. There are processes I be first to say obe file writ of sermons ye be serve nipa no ansa na court na betena se ne ade godo into there are procedures about the law and you want the substantive law na law nankasa ya turu ewo mbra munim na ye be ka say the law book na say the 1992 constitution and the substantive law and there is the procedural law now on the NDC for no uti omo ne tie de ebinim kan mo say MPP for kasa omo ntimi nkire mbra ba ko a president Mahama ne NDC for buso omo yi CJ no
bebre
omo kan ene ye ba be kire mbra omo buso. Now article 146 na the entire provisions of article 146 of the constitution no and a kire kwan ya faso yi the supreme judge of the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice.
Yes.
Now article 1466 na and then I says a petition, you know, processes now. Process they say that's the procedural aspect.
Well, say where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice. The President shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint a committee consisting of 2 justices of the Supreme Court, one of whom shall be appointed chairman by the President, and 3 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers.
Patrick can 7 account.
Make 7, okay. Was it the committee appointed under clause 6 of the article shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the President whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. Then 8, all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other expert of his choice. 9, the President shall in each case act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee. Where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. Then B, in the case of any other justice of a superior court or of a chairman of a regional tribunal, acting in accordance with the advice of the Judicial Council, suspend that justice or that chairman of a regional tribunal. 2, the President may at any time revoke a suspension under this article. I don't know.
Good.
Right.
And the provisions of the law now, not just say a council of state, you know.
Yes.
And be establish the premier facility.
Yes.
Is that not the case?
Yes.
Good. Now, the establishment of the premier facility case now. And no, in doing that, you know, your fair be adjudication. Not just say, Oba be determine whether be default and also be in default. Now, Mbrane say Ejumekuo bi yɛmfa ne sɛ movement TV ase mo disciplinary committee ofa other institutions period disciplinary committee a discipline amanfo saa committees no ɛnyɛ court council of state ɛnyɛ court but adjudication no in determining the premier facility case no adjudication which is supposed to be court adwuma nti no your friend quasi judicial body not just omo judicial body but quasi na asema make me do be si student a amanfo say adenti na GBA adenti na MPP for ye pamo EC any shrad GBA ankasa na MPP for ye hu boni bia wom na so CJ ne de omo si e form mbraso me ba ho na maba be chirechire
okay
enti wo head council of state na council of state ni nya judicial body council of state be a advisory body to the president enti omo no ye quasi judicial body na say constitution so che say quasi judicial body bia be perform activity bia eye adjudicatory function sa quasi judicial body no or exercise discretionary power
yes
enti patcho article 296
article 296
which governs discretionary power
okay sad the last we can I add the papa
article 296 which governs the exercise of discretionary power.
What can say it should not be arbitrary.
BBC article 296 na no akosi.
Make a 296.
You say any ayati as say. Council of State na judicial body. Council of State na court. Ohwe court structure na article 125 na Council of State enkan bi. Enti no mo ye council bi ana say agency ana organization bi a even though omo perform adjudication which is a judicial function no omo no nye judicial body ntie ye quasi judicial body
but I was 296 okay
296 omo ye quasi judicial body not say na omo si ye omo niama ni nia no et say na court e ba be di wasem na so no omo nye court me ba cha what ya say
what is article 296 here
omo nye court but on your own say court now in fact there are so many article 296
midday last making kind
for the benefit of your listeners yes is 33A no
okay what say exercise of discretionary power
good
why in this constitution or in any other law discretionary power is vested in any person or authority that discretionary power shall be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid. B. The exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased either by resentment, prejudice, or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with due process of the law. And then C. Where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, there shall be published by constitutional instrument or statutory instrument regulations that are not inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution or the law to govern the exercise of the discretionary power.
Good. Don't mess up.
Okay.
Now, obi baby say discretionary power you create bad there. Discretionary power chere say to me a constitution itimi di mobi. Say odi assembly nipa ne betimi ankasa de na adwen ono ankasa ne own judgment this asem no for example critical example bill bill na bill the exercise of bill na discretionary
yes
e na court ne pe obema o pe all ma
yeah
court ne kura pe all ma reason tia obedi na you bill because the law says that the exercise of bill no a discretionary power and ye dia ma judge no
so for na dwene ni yansa the experience
and the circumstances surrounding the matter no often decide say assume say money bail or be court and assume say money bail on back court and only discretionary now good constitution no article 296 ni say so exercises are discretionary now e was say fair
yes
and we say biased e was say do butrimu fine and we say okasa kwa we meaning the pan menya discretionary no me kire ni say 2 minutes kitami no e was say and we say arbitrary e was say fair candid na article 296 na article 296 na kire say obia constitution na ma ho kwan say exercise discretionary power na mom onye judge inti pacho san kan see ni biem.
Okay, see what say where the person of authority is not a judge
good
or other judicial officer
good
there shall be published
good
by constitutional instrument or statutory instrument
good
regulations that are not inconsistent
good
with the provisions of this constitution.
Say onye judge and say onye judicial officer, which means onye obi a oye adwuma within the judicial architecture na say exercise discretionary power now there shall be published a regulation to exercise some discretionary power no. The constitution say onye judge onye judicial body na say constitution na ma ahoden say exercise discretion. This is na constitution na ma council of state ahoden under article 146 so mo form discretion emboa say justice no you will premier facie case against him and I say there is no premier facie case now. Say council of state exercises that discretionary. It sounds a council of state for no money judge any court any judicial body no they have to go to article 296 for there to be a regulation.
Mami Musa question here answer see. Onobusa say okay then in the case of Mr. Charlotte say
good
as chairperson of electoral commission and then the case of the former Shraj Lord Calamity no say Shraj boss good and then good the answer is
the answer is that
Chief Justice
the procedures are different because in the case of Charlotte say the EC commissioner and the Shraj boss no nipa o determine premier facie case no the Chief Justice
was say see no him for say where the person of authority is not a judge or
other in the case of Shraj no nipa no o determine premier facie case no a Chief Justice no a judge and no a judge
or a judge
or a judicial officer no a judicial officer. No is there a need for a regulation?
No need.
Council of state no me a judge and no me a judge only a judicial officer so then there is the need for a regulation. Now you say you say in the removal of Justice Toko no council of state for no performing quasi judicial body no was there regulation to guide the discretion no more they establishing premier facie case na ebinyo. Now in fact also come branima say yeni ayejitu mu say Supreme Court decisions forms part of yembra.
Yes.
Now the case of Ransford France versus Ransford France versus Ransford France number 3
okay
versus Electoral Commission and Attorney General a 2012 case over Supreme Court of Ghana law report now it will page 723
okay
now yentie the judge ne kan judge ne say the obligation to make regulations should be limited to discretion which is quasi judicial situations. By that we mean where adjudication is involved.
Okay,
this is the Supreme Court speaking. Say obligation that's nipa na or exercising discretionary power no.
Yes,
say a quasi judicial body dia and I say a quasi judicial situation dia say there has to be a regulation.
Yes,
especially where it has to do with adjudication because adjudication connects to the rights of people. Because everybody say who adjudicate here, which means who be boa say nipa no on left
and I will say
on right. But the court in it say Supreme Court decision we no in Ransford France case no actually say nipa na or exercising discretionary power no so onye judge na say onye judicial body there has to be a regulation. Now where the NPP and the Ghana Bar Association and all well-meaning Ghanaians and many lawyers are saying say Abai way I follow due process and friend ECJ no it's because there was no regulation guiding the establishment of premier facie case na council of state for no at the buy because God don't onim the our constitution no e dey share mu say for regulation and guided discretionary power God don't because God don't wo tie adwami. It is possible say MPP betima ba bemu 2028 na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say go on to the council of state.
Yes, possible. Yes.
Meanwhile, you are not a lawyer, you are not a judge.
Yes.
You have not studied the constitution. But essence say council of state for the new adwuma ne say omo ebe pension constitution ni na omo adwuma ne say omo be bo aban no omo be advise government and the president in no. It is not a requirement.
Yes.
It will go down. Where the sorry some do your example, but
there be no problem.
Council of state. Now say assembly say basi ye pesi ye Chief Justice bia because you are not a lawyer and you have not studied the law now. Law needs to hear you, it's in a constitution. Say there has to be a regulation.
Yes, then guide me
to guide you.
Yes,
so discretionary. Ye say, and absolute. So the authority now, Diama Council of State for no say omofa determine premier facie case. No, it is not an absolute discretion. Sanka court, their court with absolute discretion, but Council of State any absolute discretion. And in the case omodi get to Asaba Tokuno Chief Justice no. Ana regulation be anywhere guide the Council of State. Council of State no. A year in Yamasa, then it comes to Article 296 say the decision of the Council of State can be said to be arbitrary. Because more follow due process.
Yes.
But what I say? Yes. Constitution say there has to be a regulation. But there must be a regulation. And I'm causing more adjudicating against the Chief Justice. Say she has questions to answer. In fact, the Chief Justice has even requested say, or person who denounce one tia moka say premier facie. There is a premier facie. Most of you entitled to it. How? That is entitled to it. Why medical kasan because Mbrand you the procedure you go jina court kran ye bisa are you guilty or not? Guilty. But when the nipa ne buy and more money sa benefit in the crowd, I say you have questions to answer, so go and answer. But the same Article 246 and 296 one now, yeah, can. Also can be bias, any prejudices. Yeah. Bias, any prejudices. President Mahama, the pronouncement. Good. Before bear president, no. It satisfies idea, no. It satisfies. He has bias against the Chief Justice because so sure. Council of State ne dwuma na omo ye ninia. The Constitution says say baby abehun Council of State be say in consultation with the president. Yes. On the advice or more advising president on the advising the president. Ebeye A and I say ebeye B. Ninia na discretion ni bia. But what did they make an say? It didn't say more exercises such a more discretion is such a critical matter. It is expected of you say more the Constitution in Brani be juma. And God on that is why I say in the absence of the regulation now Constitution said there has to be a regulation, and in this case there was no regulation. No. It is totally illegal and it is totally unconstitutional. Again, omobody CJ Nasem compare Charlotte Sen Shraja Sem. You cannot compare the two. But what you have to be Mahama Yariga, right? Majority leader of Parliament. What can be somewhere me? Heading was a government to propose constitutional amendment on removal of Superior Court justices. Majority leader was said that majority leader Mahama Yariga has hinted at an impending move by the government to introduce new constitutional guidelines for the removal of justices of the Superior Court, including the Chief Justice. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday during the Mr. Yariga stated that the government intends to lay down clearer and stronger procedural rules to govern how judges of the High Court, Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court may be removed from office. While he stopped short of disclosing the specific provisions or legal framework under consideration, Ayariga acknowledged that any such change would necessarily involve the amendment of entrenched provisions of the 1992 Constitution, a process that requires both parliamentary approval and a national referendum. Say no majority leader no crowd put me say Constitution as it is no. Here baby kakra said what to me Chief Justice. Why did they allow the process to continue? Again, now you see, aside the Council of State needing some regulation, committee nankasa led by the respected Justice Parliament Committee. What's a committee no more was in India, and then you lawyers and also mere judges. What's a military officer? Yeah. That's our lecturer, big crowd from the University of Ghana. Yes. So the committee is also not a judicial body. A quasi. Yes. Committee in your court. So what I say, committee, no, it doesn't fall anywhere under the court structure. And your district court, and your magistrate court, and your circuit court, and your high court, and your court of appeal, and your supreme. It is a justice for my committee in your court. In terms of quasi judiciary and judicial body. So again, they also needed some regulation to guide their discretion under Article 146(6) and Article 146(7). Okay. I tell you, our committee, and they be determine whether or not yenyi CJ na name yenyi CJ. Now yenbisa was there any such regulation by Parliament? There be no. Good. So that again points out to the unconstitutionality surrounding Madam Gertrude Asare-Bediako no removal number 2. That's the second unconstitutionality. Also, enti no lawyers ne NDC for na ka say hi President Mahama mbum bra bia so ye no wo bum bra so na nye bra bia say the 1992 constitution because I was anka President Mahama etimi direct Council of State and say no mo determine premier face case more for article 296C anya adwuma and based on that fact say more for constitution provision anya adwuma no premier face case it cannot be said to be proper in law.
Yes,
so go back and do the right thing. Justice Pamando committee do report by the Osanka President Mahama timi interrogate bi say was that a regulation a guided with discretion as proposed and required by article 296C na Omonka said there be and he tells them say go back and go and do the right thing. But yes, you see, because of the political nature surrounding the removal of the CJ and because the president is a politician and the principal orchestrator and the masterminder behind this grand scheme and illegality to remove the CJ Nintino or the buyer see money adwuma why ade pa. In fact obi wow new Narcissus Kobe e throw to ni Facebook say report near the CJ ni 10,000 pages
and you think it will
na 10,000 pages no report no ye dey almost submit my president some of the media for koye almost submit my president around 12 o'clock. President statement ni removing the CJ eba around 3 o'clock to around 2:30. The president in the 3 hours kind 10,000 pages and
the IP.
You see, you see the interesting thing is
wow,
that, and the point has to be made. Say anybody that is defending the removal of the CJ way no is either ignorant or and
politics,
or the person is a complicit. Nipa ne ka ho ene ya hye adwuma no NDC for no defending in ya no adwuma se no defend and also media for the bi so abai ni romance omo e babysit omo no so no is either they are ignorant about the matter because obia onipa said there has to be a regulation to guide the exercise of discretionary power and would never say abai ni mbumbra bia so ye abai ne bumbra so
na you see and then committee go for set up for me enye tidy.
Yeah.
And the involvement of Obi to say Ura Tatuchikata. Yeah. 10% the petition defend them say
yes.
If the new man said no the petitioner no.
Shining stars never could be so count.
The also say 3 different one and the back first one no mo ye no.
Yeah.
The almost investors then. Ono the cases Ura Gabriel Pamai. Ura Gabriel Pamai judge penny. What the about 5 cases? Yeah, papa, that's 7 who a womb. Nina what the man. Men kasa a bonnet and that's a your bonnet. Not some back one what naso. Abasa petition you. But back one man home as a panel. You see, you no, you move really on a cotia papa. How on earth do you single out one person as a member of a panel say she should suffer for the decision of the panel?
Yeah.
How on earth? And sisa but enya abaso media baby yadru no ye difri bi so a de ba wo so ye difri bi so a say Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana eni ye dia ye ni say dia eni first clay primary school headmaster the DTT.
Yeah.
Say Chief Justice eni aye ni say eni obi antimi nkasa we ade a criminal removal of the Chief Justice. You see a point almost exercise shade what them say ni say because procedure be no ma omudi so. Maami na mu ye friend no ya fa prebe fashion case ba kokoro ankyere no. I am told to say apart from Kata President Troy said we maami na di no. In fact report go put maami no boni bi. That's what I'm told. Mesi ready aye comedies me say that nase nya di nkoma kenkan niema akenkan niema na ya hwe.
Yeah.
All right, abusafo aha aye Ghana nti movement television so and na wo hwe ne ebo by 10 minutes after 8 you be free TV so we still be on social media Facebook and then YouTube. Lawyer Kosibutwe and na wase ma yedi enkobo no. Lawyer
into the removal of CJ Wayne, you see there's a background to it. Abai we will position, they had a perception say CJ no empe o masem if we some dey asem bia kokota no mo lose
yes
na odi asem boni kokota obelusu of course ye nti kroma na ye to election 2020 we omode court omo so mo win election unim say say election 2020 case na court no ye yiba TV so no nke enyamba TV so nke NDC for we ka che say judge for ni we asem na my MPP then so ye bi so omo so anka so mo results we no omo so mo need the kind of people are NDC for na ye me read ruling no na me read kakra me hu NDC for anka so mo pleadings bi omo de kokko ye omo aka pressure mo ye ya under the hand of MDC for holo okabo ma above 50% plus off for na do yeah entino godon omo nyanya sa perception no mo your madwen say
omo ma
me no entino everything around the removal of CJ we no political
yes.
It is very legal. No. It's political. There's nothing legal associated with. So they could have done it right.
Yes.
But the writer, because Mame no technically no former CJ. You report it just a former CJ, Madam Sofa Yekufu. Ekudi adansi man. Former CJ. Enimia boa. Ekudi adansi man. Say in some amodi atu Mame no suniano. Adia. Ekadwuma ne ho ba ko bi okoe enye bone
lawyer panimu pa me say judge bi organ bi respect no na na kro bi susu bi so no so ko bi
enti no chese ade a eka adwuma ne ho godon sebe enye bibia na ya tro wo mrem enye bibia na ye ma wa adwuma kro be ka wa appointment letter ho but there are some courtesies and privileges that comes with the job.
Of course.
Minjini say President Mahama ya tro wo mrem bia mu say otukwa ultimate ne ba Sharaf Mahama di na chi
Dabi.
But as part of the courtesies and the privileges of the job, President Tukwain, na say the ba e person na kwa. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Me too.
Me because of politics in tea. So what I say
on my chair baby credit just obey the ba.
CJ ni Tukwain na say ne ba e ka ne ho a enu nti ni CJ na wie ska.
Me was book
now let's ask ourselves. Say what if CJ no Tukwain ne kra na medical condition ti no Tukwain.
Ayo.
No nya family member bi ama na tena ne.
Et say year first abamba
bin. O Tukwain de ne yere ne nurse for ne ade ni a. And what if CJ no according to no to medical reason because CJ say be onye small girl.
Dabi.
O you be adifie no kwa ni. O about 55 years to 60 plus. O be adifie kwa ni so to kwan. That's say o hwe the caliber stature. O say o person the baba ene ne ko anase ni kunu ne kwa. Eno kire say we wi man ni sika ntia wo say pamona na. You see, sometimes let's put politics aside. But you see, President Mahama, ye bibia was say Ghana for ni are worried. Ye koto aba man President Mahama. Democratically no be a president in 50-something%.
Yes.
Your candidate vice president His Excellency Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia concede election about 48 hours into the election none of the man democratically elected President Mahama
24 hours say Sunday morning
overwhelming majority in parliament democratically elected now opese neni enso power Ghana for the amano or the political machinations no orchestrations person they take over the judiciary already President Mahama take over civil society organizations go on who him say the presidency say no up for me an executive advisory council omo sa council ni so nia CSOs including the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Yes, all CSOs. Yeah, inaugurated last April, but omo in underground. As they know it's a matter of public record that they cannot challenge. Franklin Kujomunia almost send a council of state tier no. Now omo pay a second chamber be advise the president. But only CSOs. It's not Franklin Kujomunia CSOs ni pino. Aye di yon muntiminka by na because they say no me advisory councillor omo ye part of the executive. Yes. No. What this years was never after media or buy a media way no agenda man appointment into the executive media for your more appointment will buy women close to about 30 just to shut them up into a buying romance media for no and to be because to be a media for intimate but you see the truth of the matter is that this government cannot romance the CSOs forever.
Of course
this government cannot romance the media forever. Don't even be fed up. Don't be fed up. Every person. Say men so one NDC for no be say or my mistake. It is the removal of the CJ no. There's nothing logical and legal about the removal of the CJ. It is politics. But you see, all judges should be worried because if the leader of the judiciary yetime on political grounds na sebe manusi sumuna so why district court judge they are not just say oh dey we adwuma ne dey
and America no
be kura o that is you can just be too political
but you say toothpick.
Let's all be concerned about what is going on. Gordon, let us all be concerned about what is going on. But you see, in fact, say abayin we buy na galamsey say yinsu na no Ghana Bar Association president kan wan say more GBA conference galamsey say yinsu na omo priority ni say omo be yi CJ because you see insu na say insu na oni ano forest reserves na say ni omo ni ano omo be kasa omo nti Ghana for ya wa anu anipa ye benefiting from river bodies ne forest reserves no we have to speak up against galamsey na cause no. I have always said, say, granted without admitting, say President Akufo-Addo, galamsey fight no failure. And who results na ye di free elect Abemu 7 December. Say galamsey was on the ballot.
Yes.
Ghana for say omo pen MPP say MPP for year 2 galamsey. Fine. Say MPP ni Abemu. MPP
9 months.
Galamsey no ye free Abemu no. Galamsey ne jai and ase galamsey ni jai.
Aye west.
Almost President Akufo-Addo no to galamsey. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia no to galamsey. Gabi Asare-Bediako no to galamsey. Sango fodi ni free Abemu no me pa cho galamsey na koso ana enkoso.
Aye west.
Abna tiane ne maami ni ade omo hwem wo wuntumi omo Kumasi. Movement omo Kumasi. Omo kwadranse a omo nimse galamsey na yede. Enkoso. Enti enkoso na MPP for na ma ne koso ana.
Jabian DC.
Now no Amenfi Central chairman I have the recording here yeah I'm the best send one more Amenfi Central chairman or see the DCE Amenfi Central DCE to galamsey cause NDC chairman
omu interview
interview I have the tape here omu interview and I say ne DCE you know to galamsey na task force focus omu kwa stop DCE na DCE ne boys this is the boys now tax force for that chesika is
water gas as a for
water gas for no
yes wa hwe omo pa NDC ahwe water gas for galamsey ho
pa inti no na chese enya me na make say NDC for ye galamsey na ye ni ayenya masi yo yenya masi DC no the representative of the president so be any say DC representative of the president
akala fa ba ko to so ba misisi am nkaade
NDC chairman DC ne ye galamsey DC no why not representing wo district mo it indirectly you bet maka say ne boss in galamsey ne hu bi that is why we are saying say the chief enabler of galamsey is President Mahama and the galamsey na koso now appointees are deeply involved
of course
last minister and then a palm for ebetima ye de omo be ye bia so NDC executives no mo no mutu galamsey no NDC appointees no mo no mutu galamsey no mo no mutu omo no mu say yensu no galamsey e koso eti no galamsey ne de me I don't think say President Mahama has the will and the political zeal to fight galamsey what mean ko galamsey no because on one national organizer cross tax force na what no cross tax force no me akrofo no mo ko site on mo the President Mahama di eko jiji galamsey yes ni sika no mo to galamsey and then the same thing no mo the boy chi say ye interministerial mining no operation Vanguard nya de ye stotis kefri amamfo ho and then NDC galamsey tax force no mo tie no omo kro mo ye yie kura che galamsey yes ni bi because the tax force now is a money making machine.
Yes, a Catholic Bishop Conference for issue statement na and then make statement be na me ra ho pa Catholic Bishop Conference for say LDC omo kosia o mampanyin John Dramani Mahama ene ni kosia kudi nkomo fa illegal mining ho na omo ye disappointed because I see one mo ka che o mampanyin Mahama ni nyina no na ho nya nasem na nasem mo nyina wo ka ni say o mani hieska enti aso wo ka che mo wo ni office no e omo ya ene wa ba be kana bonten ebra media fo sia no 2 weeks ago ezede ni na otwi minu as say Ghana asase na ye ni ayasase it is ye be say no na goals cannot be ba o my Ghana say enko abrosi dia ene nya hwiti enko so say no
that statement President Mahama made is an unfortunate statement.
Me dey reckless mami me
illegal thing is illegal.
Yes.
And some make justification say eduma ni ho. Enti mabnu no enti adwuma ni wonti a Ghana for ma mbeka so mu ni adwuma ye ni enti omu nyom kobo ashawa na
ebia
oh yes and as o person legalize
so omo ma so no patronize
as adwuma ni wonti amafo enkoye galamsey illegal ata e de na ma sabi omu so gina kwa ho so betima ka say adwuma ni wonti enso ye kobo ashawo
ena kro no
there is no way unemployment can be a justification to an illegality.
Dabi.
And to me, possible, sir.
Dabida.
And they should never be said. Yabeka say, a duma ni ontino. Oh, who quite say, ubeti makwakoye illegal act and also ubeti makwakoye bibia. But you see, NDC campaigned on Galamsey. NDC magana for a fili say MPP and the Galamsey kuraba Ghana. Oh. Ghana for GDA. MPP for the Galamsey buy MPP for two Galamsey and a Jubilee House a headquarters of Galamsey and MPP free a bear say Jubilee House never Galamsey no gusu ko. There's a perception that they say Jubilee House and they the headquarters of Galamsey.
Yes, they say the free TB.
You see, a minimum kase na and that crown himself okobolia.
Yeah,
president's backyard. I'm up for two Galamsey or bedroom. People are mining in Bali, are doing Galamsey in Bali as if there is no tomorrow. People are doing Galamsey at the president's backyard. And the president doesn't feel proud as an indigene of Bali or Kobolia. Does President Mahama feel proud as an indigene of Bali, considering how Galamsey is destroying Bali?
Say black vote.
How does he feel? How does he feel? Say they are among for the excavators. Excavators a work chrome hano. A 10 taxis a work room her. And the Ghana be excavators hub. Meanwhile, Ghana hanipe gua ye do 30 million. There's so excavators a good Ghana hananyasem ketwa. Now no number statistics be o CNN. Who pe correct kraga excavators pa first and Ghana can be. The excavators in kwa ya kraba Ghana how within the last 9 months. About $67 billion. $67 billion. Meanwhile, of excavator.
Meanwhile, that's what revolution.
Meanwhile, NDC forward opposition. Mo katre so mo ba. O mo the ban ebe to the import of Galamsey. So mo katre.
Import of excavators.
Excavators.
I will buy yes announcement. No.
Yeah, then I still excavators.
Well, yeah, I think somewhere April.
Yaza 419 wagadre. And mo didi. You see, this government has come down on the matter of Galamsey. Abai we are die. What that Ghana for? Galamsey no zunu ntimi nko ho ntokwa. Yoko attorney general etro koma Yoko Raymond Acha. Godon why na what you say fites wo de ya natural no de ni artificial. Ye tro letter man say NDC form you no vice chairman no national organizer. Ye susu so mo ye Galamsey on wiem na kosi sen.
Patcho ni graphic online eni Ghana bans importation of excavators in bid to curb illegal mining. Where year 6th June 2025. And the Wahan was say the government of Ghana has announced an immediate ban on the importation of excavators as part of intensified measures to combat illegal mining and safeguard the nation's water bodies. The directive issued by the Ministry of Transport introduces a strict no permit, no excavator policy to regulate the entry of such machinery into the country. Day Julian they say the excavators and the ban atoso. Then after the excavators abebu tamaport wa ye say a bro so amase ye nyi ntemo a unya baby go for bicycle park e tamaport. E say anajo eno mu excavators.
They no car ba kura unya baby kura.
Say car there so bicycle kura no has no space.
Because Galamsey no koso. Galamsey is ongoing. Entino Godon, we all have to be worried. Say abai we adadai, abai we atreki, abai we aye 419. We all have to be worried. Say Galamsey ye koso. But Godon, you see, na meka Yoko asem no.
Yeah.
Raymond Acha. Yeah, the idea bro. Attorney General. William say Yoko so Attorney General ase.
Yes.
A troll letter bro. Say nkrofo mienu ye Galamsey. Investigate them. Na be possible la prosecute omo say Omutu Galamsey eye NDC national organizer and NDC vice chairperson. Raymond Acha bubu ndue egu na so. Instead of say Yoko ebe tenase ayo modwuma yie as an intelligence agency no, Yoko has been reduced to a gossip agency. And say de bia na Yoko omode omaso etetetete. Obi de car ba na we ne car no nya free he, we ne car na stolen car, we ne car na say CID Interpol unit no. Omeduma ena Yoko for age no mo.
Na the other no so farmer police for.
Oh, say maybe because of the economic nature of the matter.
Okay,
I understood
and the other different
say ebia na nkrofo no boni omode galamsey ne di na ebia na it's possible cra say I'm just saying say it is possible say ebia omoye galamsey no omunye sika no kra sika
money laundering okay
njo de koma Yoko no minimum intelligence attorney general ninya inti otroma Yoko
okay
but anka Yoko ye ni hwehwemu nia no de ba so we dey money laundering ne economic crime be anim na mum CID for na hwe the criminal aspect of it would have been a different matter
okay
but Yoko has ignored the letter from the attorney totally, which is very terrible. Which is very terrible. But you see, Gordon, once senior President Mahama and the NDC for Eddie Omonsa FIFA security agencies from Yoko, National Security, BNI, our mother TMPP for, TikTok for, TMPP for my appointees anyhow. They should use that same romance strategy and babysitting strategy to fight Galamsey. Okay. Abaining fan is for Yoko for the national security for the police for no more Galamsey no more. This government they know the people doing Galamsey. And this is for they know.
That's what Abaining pay. What's wrong with
if I tell you then people frustrating Kofi Amaboa. You see the be Kofi Amaboa kwa cabinet no. Osu. They say Osu because the NDC for na they took Galamsey no. The NDC for na see Galamsey fight no the NDC people who are frustrating the fight against Galamsey.
Yes.
NDC for the two Galamsey. Now NDC for one person Kofi Amaboa enim guase. So what I say?
So the president be
guase into no mo share IGP tax force echi. Into the NDC for no mo pay IGP tax force. Ela Kofi Amaboa say there be anya adwuma da. Ye de inter
9 months
na be adwuma. Sami je fisu support 9 months. Into na now you wakoto 5 pickups.
And the match baby o.
I don't cry the mini who you see the conversation about tax force or no tax force or whatever it is, no Sami je fisu supporting 9 months or whatever it is, no. Once it is to stop illegal mining, they say yes, we need
we must stop
have a problem.
Okay.
But just what the mechanism. Once omode cost stop illegal mining, there. But what is happening is that 9 months ni year juma wo etifino na NDC appointees enzu to Galamsey.
For one life for
what got dress sempa NDC for na to Galamsey. If there is any MPP member involved in Galamsey, first yes won say no. Omutwa omini omusa chama won to me wa say yes won ya.
Hey.
Na opposition 9 months ni. Se chama won to me no to Galamsey a nke na NDC ba abem ka Galamsey nke to atwa.
I'm so come stop no.
Asante region, me so kwadranse asokwa. Galamsey akoso no. Enya sam ketwa.
Oh, na manso kwanta wona.
Manso kwanta manso edubie ni.
Yeah.
Galamsey akoso nti se nka chama won to me na etu Galamsey. E wa Asante region a. Nke ye bo opposition ya.
Eka bibia to atwa.
Harazi ni za ko bejai. Na so ene chama won to me. Onye mine ya oti ni baby Galamsey na to atwa na etu.
Afekwa na ye west.
So then it even tells us say MPP ye wa ba mu kura na ndisi fo no to Galamsey ni hye.
Yes. So buneye.
No, we took Galamsey the share, but because we were overwhelmed by the Galamsey menace now, and Nuntino, you lose all your mining communities. All mining communities, we lost. As a result of your fight against Galamsey, and now we know Kasi MPP are young popular in constituencies like Takwa. Because of Galamsey. I'm for a time Mekuduka, Nya no Mekuduka, Nya Mutino, because of the fight against Galamsey.
Yeah, true.
Because of what the nice see form say. Yeah, onukra ye kaso no ye Galamsey.
Aye. Because some of the be said.
CNN here wa he kokomlemle CNN di. Omuti mekuduka ye Galamsey. Ene ofiri on Galamsey the cost water kwa ne etu atwa na etu ontwa.
Afe na ye west, aye kun.
And so we should be worried. Gordon, I think we should be worried as citizens. We should be worried say Galamsey ekoso na say President Mahama ene na pamfonia enform ho na Galamsey ni ye to say ye man na abanwe the abanwe ye interested is the weaponization of our state institutions, is the weaponization of our security institutions and the romancing of our judiciary. Obati ye say akwati we ora akwati we ye say ora na tonswom na no omo say omo ye ni kwabre dubo ahin omo brande kwabre dubo ahin say kwabre dubo ahin sebe
the so cromford
die ebi bada na we wi o mani sika 49.1 million Ghana cedis. If you say okoto system bi na sa system na okoto aba no eno na obi she ba bi na ye be tracking na o kai say tama na terrorism e koso oh ye neighboring countries na dia de nia na President Akufo-Addo ye ne say ye nya some cyber defense system there betimi dey attract amount omo say cyber defense system na amba o omo say Kwabena Dubu ahin e disk na amba na so na anu ya President Mahama any state media for ne kasa no
okay signals bureau
national signals bureau or systems are omo ti me dey track it
na me bisa ne say
na sa IP systems no na dey ba
oto ndaben
eye Kwabena Dubu ahin systems nti a ogina court no systems na omo say amba no attorney general say amba no eno ne IP systems na President Mahama refer to no and they say when the engine indi should we believe that attorney general say Ghana you need any cyber defense system they track IP addresses and now say we should believe the commander in chief of the Ghana Armed Forces say Ghana was cyber defense system they track IP address in fact Israeli company na Kwabena Dubu ahin ekoto sa defense systems di fi omo nsem omo throw letter aba say sa defense systems omo dey break Ghana
na ye adwuma
in fact Kwabena Dubu ahin lawyers the krata court say we dey a very simple matter mo say ade na Kwabena Dubu ahin kwakoto no wako disk no wanto a omo the application back court say national security bie ne dan na Kwabena Dubu ahin enko signals bureau officer say me dey share dan we mu ye kona say dan ni nima na tere sa mpamba eno kura so court so say there be so you realize say there is a well calculated orchestrated attempt and effort between the state agency and some members of the judiciary to victimize members affiliated to the opposition.
Yes.
Now guys like Kwabena Dubu ahin or NDC ni ankomendo omo dey. Or MPP ninti na omo ye ne say.
Come on.
Na me tell ma want to me ya MPP for was here sorry.
Of course.
I was here sorry.
Of course.
Because in Krofua omo gina ho kuma MPP no. Eye MPP nti na ye omo sa. Eye MPP nti na ye omo sa. Because NDC for no say, Kwabena Dubu ahin intelligence or war any collation system to betimi dey aboa MPP. Any senior man will see boy with ye cyber enyama as a party near the idea. No money himself muja Kwabena Dubu ahin e ma ne wo ho e ja chema won to me with how chema won to me commanding numbers across the rank and file of this country. The media houses here across the rank and file of this country. MPP for done across the rank and file of this country. Yet me ja chema won to me mani jina ne na so no see resourceful e boa party then akoma so a ye jai chairman abronye mani jina ne na so say na chairman abronye timi taking on the NDC et be boy NDC for echi hold you accountable ye timi jai nkrofo miensa wey amomo wo ho no munya hoden enya the necessary energy to work for the MPP e be ba abemu 2028
it any MPP any ye yomusa
inti MPP for was here sorry I was here sorry na MPP for ye mo be ye jai say ye tisi obi aye bia so onu kwa ne disk no ana chema won to me kro 2 galam say no ma make apre e na tiresa na chema won to me 2 galam say
ebi ni ho sa
adanse e be na tiresa Kwabena Dubu ahin ewia se ska no but MPP for binom e be swallow no hook line and sinker tiresa onu kwa na nka na asem but ye hu say it is for the greater good it is for the greater good Kwabena Dubu ahin ne nkwada ni a na onimpa ni fie so chema won to me pa ni fie so omo de omo brabo abo for the greater good of omo party ene omo man amafo chema won to me for omo adwumam Kwabena Dubu ahin 2007 okoye adwuma national security e more de abo national security no
enye bini
owo abrochire a ena koye adwuma wo FBI na CIA ana say international intelligence agency bi wo abrochire anka ni hwahwa ankomo be hwahwa but they are victimizing him because omo say or threat to the NDC omo ne say so ho no ma NDC for niam pia omo pese oye omo ye ni nia no obesi ano kwan ni nti no ene ye ntata no ne destroy no ne ye gu nani mase ye yiri a no abo ne bra aye contractor nia no ye ngu omo ni mase which I think say is unfair and all of us must come together and ensure say sa nioma no enkoso but okay go do
no what the twaso
agodo na was MPP for nia ye ka ye ho bom na ye hu say sa nyoma ni nia ye harassment e no mo de harass ye nkrofo nkrofo no omunya dance bia
dabi
na we wieska okuja to ablakwa na president Akufo-Addo wieska na we wieska omukosi akosi say
enkosi aga
ene omu no mo pacho say fa 40 bra na fa 60 no mo pacho ene and then justice is for sale. Clone, don't come here, don't come here. For 40, nafa 60 show. And you're very worrying.
Yes.
It's a worrying situation. All of us must be alarmed about it. Our justice is not for sale. Our justice is not for 40 na my 60 and as for 60 na my 40. That is not what justice and rule of law talks about. You know, me there, the American say go down. MPP, you prospect say a bit masamba power BM. I was here to make a hubom and once you amend this for coin, and may you borrow. Boria ye party nim amomu destabilize your party and atichi omode beniano miniano ye hunehuna
hunehuna
CID officer bi nam say kwesi botwe wa threaten me nti oba be che me
was what threaten why
me ma threaten say oye police officer dem mo ye ne no ma say politician police officer now you no ma say politician
you treated as a politician
say
the fact
and your term of office is go terminus to the NDC can who said that be president Baumia Imbiano. Saturday is the end of your end of service as a police officer. Because you are not a professional police officer. You are a politically motivated and politically influenced police officer. I also have a team is a magazine or a political police officer. Yeah, the Ojama and the police officer now and I'm catching Crawford say, I'll see what your money and Casa Meva Chino, a catcher Moses Abo, a catcher of was a member pouch and me catcher of Massa Pouch. I mean pouch who tell Pabra Chimney. But I let him is my treacle. My treacle is all a political
threat in a way.
Now, if your conduct is one of a political police, what does the enemy country one? We will tell you. We will tell you. Now, what's our police officer? Now, I'll address you properly and mention your name on the MPPA, your demonstration against police harassment on 23rd September. Is that the new problem? I'll address you. Who police officer could have got chief anti-comedy? Ati AY, Ati Abronye, Ati Obama, Ati MP.
Hey, don't call special operation.
And the man say, oh no, the anti-MPP, anti-MPP.
Why?
Why you being a political police officer? Nkofo na mo chi omo e di omo right from nsem e di omo ko gu muni an na akwa go sisen abebe ruling na mo de buy the afa musi ruling Ghana ha ya animal farm e bi nim ye Ghana for chen e bi nim abronye ruling na ye nti ye nke di tani abronye for 7 days ne see Ghana ha no e bi nim ye under NDC Ghana President Mahama Ghana no e bi nim ye Ghana for chen e bi nim say Ghana for no obi nya asema say nipa no say once or you affiliated to a buyer and not only a buying year you might or you nipa channel. Is that the Ghana we are building? Is that the Ghana we are building? And we are weaponizing state securities against citizens. Kenoforiata, head Amodia Kenoforiata. Obia wa bonebra, a distinguished personality like Kenoforiata. You are treating Kenoforiata as if he's a common criminal. Obia even before the politics, over politics, more about joining politics, in his personal life, no, the businesses he had built. A career he had built for himself, and then Kenoforiata as a common criminal based on speculations and assumptions. Say we will Mainisika. What? This can never be rule of law. This can never be democracy. God on, we have to tread cautiously. President Mahama should know, say, and the NDC fund should know, say, and wanafe. Wanafe. Now the amodi ye kwabna du boahen ye ba power ye bibe ye monkrofo. You see, the amodi yes Obama ye ba ye bibe ye monkrofo. We will do the same thing to you because in sema mo NDC for mo kan ya mo fa mo wudi ya ye ja mo ho no. Ene ye say obi use operational budget into nipa no national security ntia nipa no we o manisika. Meanwhile, since in Chroma time, national security operational budget no mo di aye adwuma. And abaye wo mu di operational budget na aye adwuma. E national security.
You see, and then maybe abede dia mama tine me biase. Say you video go ha metabo. Now head of Yoko Raymond Acha. Ebra na NDC for wo position no. Okwa grant interview Radio Gold. Na some kind say NDC ba mu bi man e wo se omoye NPP for ayakayaka de wo kan wo se e wo se omutimi ye yade ma ne koye nipa se de bi de se hu omo a ye friends anka wo mo ora first me video mo I don't know se wo hu dade a I will share it with you eti am not surprised say and omochi MPP ni a omochi man bail condition say 50 million. She in the case of Hanan ono kwa 50 million, na yere 30 million, they say 80 million to be justified. Obedaye. Ya no kwata nchen no. Judge so amraba beto abonta mienwu says am pass under President John Dramani Mahama na bind die animal farm imoni nyina yewi. Nti squilla wo ho, Napoleon wo ho, we wo ho nyina no 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. It is our echo. Was it time moments like this, no? What should be the attitude of MPP for? Maybe you know their core FNS presidential prime minister na urban so. But in moments like this, no, saying now MPP for you handle your home opposition abra and this for a target to say one body in the party church I will be silencing the voice of the minority. How should we go about it?
But that's it. Go on. But you see, Yoko force SM no. Yoko no say no done harassment agency. And I was say President Mahama didn't nancy ho. President Mahama should be interested in the operations of Yoko. And this is Yoko and the NDC for the position.
Yo.
President Mahama should be interested in how the Yokos will Yoko. And this is Yoko the huge embarrassment ever President Mahama. Yoko is never a gossip agency and has never been a gossip agency, and so should not be reduced to a gossip and concern agency. And no Yoko for Juma. Budget abai allocate amamo 75 million Ghana cedis abai allocate amamo no. As my budget was a modi year Juma no. Sa budget ya fama Yoko for say Yoko for efama bloggers in Kasama Yoko. Yeah. Now, Yoko say Yoko for engage media people to speak for Yoko. No, a intelligence agency. What say? Sir, intelligence agency. No, multimedia intelligence and operative. About the bail conditions, Muma Hanan 80 million and any year to be justified. Don't say Kwabne Dubai Yoko for money bill 200 million Ghana cedis to be justified. Now that 200 million Ghana cedis no better than what for Phyllis a bail condition. Muma Chema would to me 50 million. Now you see, remember this is a direct message to you. Just like when NDC was in opposition, o granted interview ka say NDC ba be mo a mo omunye MPP for yaka dia NDC for no ene one kasa no mu use ama wa ye MPP for yaka dia. Just know say a time will come, it will change. And
MPP for be this for yaka dia.
It is possible say Kwabena Dubu ahia odi nani no. MPP beba be mo be national security coordinator.
Possible. Why not?
It is possible.
Why not?
Huh? It is possible. Me, I am very young. Me nko baby aye. But I have seen a bookman, Trotro Station bookman, become a mate before. And I have seen a mate become a car owner before.
Of course.
I have seen a landlord become a tenant before, and I have seen a tenant become a landlord before. And so be careful how they treat people. Kwabena Edubuahin, o deni shemu 3 weeks. A treaty o colleague intelligence officer o Kwabena Edubuahin so ye head of National Signals Bureau. In fact, or not National Signals Bureau, or not drafted the law of the National Signals Bureau.
Oh, I see.
What the handcuff Gunisa or Ghana airport nipem gunanima citizen obi asebe or do cocaine e we my name. Say say obi asebe what traffic you obi. Say obi a wodi or ye terrorist e gunanima se.
What tu kwan wa ba. Moka chese nyame adba jwada report.
Yeah.
Obeba.
E de ne ko share Yoko 3 weeks. Na kan hu se Remonacha, oh yes, I know money. Aban beti masisa.
Oh,
aban beti masisa chairman won to me. Ah, oh yeah, ni say tina chairman won to me beti ma the national chairman of the ruling party. Ah, we position oh. So you have to be very careful. This is a friendly advice as a senior brother. Remonacha, I am a senior brother, so as a junior brother, and this is a friendly advice. You should tread cautiously. Na shebre yendin kaso da. Yendi shebre kaso. Shebre yendin kaso, so tread cautiously. If you have issues with people, separate your issues from Ojuma Oye and a black rasta. Do a leaky video.
And anything
say Obifie na Obi Obab or de towel esina sin show no be is a back sir in the one
Obifie one for back
one sa video no one and your Kwabena Edubuahin fie
I see.
And a concocted video na Black Rasta de buy. Na Black Rasta no. Answer no best at di Kwabena Dubois ya tem no ni Remondacha ko share. I have the pictures here. Odini go share.
Really?
Oh, let me even share with your producer. Odini go share. And na odini go share no. Oh, her picture na brown bag bi e da ho. Esi picture omutwa picture na brown bag leather.
Brown bag, I said brown envelope.
Brown bag.
Okay.
Esi nchen. And a man for business say na then na what brown bag ni.
Na me ampa bi wi.
Since that time sa meeting no e course no. Since that time sa meeting no course.
And was static asafa yoko.
Bo na tia wa bo yi Kwabena Dubois ye ti abo yoko cases omo ye nia no se oba be defend.
Say be external PR and external communications
it is say no
consultant.
And am for God me the picture na send them. Police me the picture na send them so. So be nya obetimi da to so ma omo hwe o YouTube ni.
Me the be mo ma to.
Black Rasta ko ekohia Remondacha. E wo Remondacha office. E no ni share e din komoni ade na wo hwe picture ni din a wo say right corner no brown bag bi si ho. I'm for say a mystery brown bag. Then and now what brown bag di mu kwa a motivate Black Rasta fitis our engagement you know. Fitis our engagement you know. What started attacking Kwabena Dubois. E the fake videos two against Kwabena Dubois. E pe say go Kwabena Dubois here ni ma say ye che Kwabena Dubois here e na ne yere that how see na say e start say o say bags a good bag bi mu na bags ni kura den na chese skara na ewu. I
will busy don't forget say it's also possible that Chairman Kwamba Fabronye will become the Yoko boss. You know see no correct.
And because Abronya has the qualifications.
You know
see the needed qualifications or law or about 3 masters and the idea how bet me the Yoko boss you know Remondacha Black Rasta starting here. There's the perception that you are the one behind Black Rasta. So if you are not the one behind Black Rasta, call Black Rasta to order. Because Kwabena Dubois you are the sole investigative agency. It's a video bisa but not a sensitive video bisa aba clearly no only Black Rasta ko share wie and send us a video no sa picture no about another sa video ne about ama Black Rasta yes and yamana. The perception and that the but one irresistible conclusion is that you are the one instigating Black Rasta. Because what Black Rasta is doing has a bearing on your investigations.
Yes.
And by now no kura no say enye Remondacha say you funny say unim Black Rasta there no hwe na nka by now say nka watch Black Rasta. Bisa Black Rasta say sa video about Kwabena Dubois in fie no onye free hin.
But omo so mun siw no.
Onye free hin. But also what did America say? I'm sure that the lawyers will take the needed action.
Yeah.
I was say Remondacha you interested Emma bisa Black Rasta say I know the video ni man dia Black Rasta nya video ni fi because this is a person standing trial for allegedly misappropriating state funds and you Black Rasta also was CCTV footage just na nipa ne yere no so ya accused person in the matter pakiska egu bags mu ekogu baby fofra then you have to come and prove say who are dance here
now we be quite fear this will move the bags akọ baby fofra ene fa ho bai e ma be na stop was say one not tin fie won tin pia ne bag every one side to the other e ma be na stop no anyway you're very very interesting me fa I am po mo ne gina hey
now the president mama bo background
yes and now ya ampa bag na si form no
e jama for bisa questions
abopampe
for bisa questions papa
bag na bopampe
for bisa questions godon for bisa questions now here say na Black Rasta so na nia dia
I would do to say energy wom nanka what
since then owie we no
akaline me dey man pacho ya fa to screen so then go for ehwe
owie sa meeting we no oni Remondacha ko hia wie ye ne de Kwabena Dubois ye bonsam wa bo Kwabena Dubois ye ti abo Angela ti abo bia ti abo mo ti abo so mo wieska omo bomo ti enti obi abisa say what is Black Rasta's motivation
and interest
and inducement
yes
ashe nukutupa amani yes anyoma na oye no na nyema we ni omo ye nia no picture bi bo omo mie no omo fifi one picture ne bo
ese president Mahama ne shechi ho
enti president Mahama obo office ho na Remondacha ene Black Rasta hia wie na Black Rasta ebe frɛ former signal boss bureau as kronfo you should be worried. You should be worried.
Okay.
You should be very very worried.
Mati afe yemin ko question back on. E de ba asem na ba Dr. Mahmood Bawumia pache wo no. E de ba de kosi.
That's a very good one. You see ya drift akọ your internal matters. Ye di kan ya meka ne say Ghana ha ya mamre ene ya manie mu no. Se ofum obi. Na se nipa ne catch us godon wafom me why ya de mani anje hu me boafu. Then I was all ye.
It's a pache.
Sometimes you don't need to be wrong to apologize. But in the interest of say nipa no be say we say winning nipa ne draw back. We be say nipa no hu say ebufuo na ne boafu no ebia one shada. Also pache. This is not the first time Dr. Bawumia pache.
Yes.
He thank you to pache. Because he admits, in fact, even before he beton the Swabanaka, he admitted say enye bibia na MPP are buying within the last 8 years from 2017 to 2024 yenya right. We had a lot of things right. MPP did a lot of transformational policies, did a lot of transformational initiatives, and we had a lot of things right, and we had some things wrong as well.
Of course, he
yenya wrong no. Then I was here
say pacha wo ho.
Ye pacha wo nti boni bia ni ho. Say Dr. Mahmood Bawumia apacha wo. And you see who ye president, and that's what person ye president. Sa gangster attitude na was here jai. You are leading people. If the people you are leading, the flocks you are leading feel say who leader no. Why ye bibia you have to be humble enough to say I am sorry. Next time I'll do the right. Mahmood Bawumia has done, and that is one of the traits Dr. Mahmood Bawumia ewa be dey be who say enunti da Ghana for epe Dr. Mahmood Bawumia.
But Bilmo ka say ma wonye blanket apology na so no play role bia we did say personally no me can say whether commissioner or mission enti na party no elusu election na wonka ba mo fo bia emfra asim so bia ye bone ye no response ne say
Dr. Mahmood Bawumia was the vice president. Dr. Mahmood Bawumia was the leader of the MPP in the 2024 elections. Party ni na is in the stress.
Yeah.
In the party ni ye bibina say wrong at that time. He has to apologize. Wow, pacha wa uzu say o dia onye hwe ne kasi na be kasi ya pacha na Dr. Mahmood Bawumia kan me nka hu bi me dia me.
Say bi so mo nka hu.
Anti no wow no MPP Ghana for pay placement among for kwada Independence Square 3 days. Any idea ni yan. If there is anybody who has to apologize to Ghanaians first, it's supposed to be Dr. Duchum. Ghana for Ekwada Independence Square 2 to 3 days. At the pay placement.
What's one can? What's one education? What
if you not apologize,
100 over 100.
If you not apologize, allow people who apologize to apologize. A internal contest now go down. Ni boy internal contest. Since 1992, anytime I bet to a bar, Obibe Lusubian, you blame the presidential candidate. It happened to Eduboy.
Okay.
In 1992. And no crana MP before you say you and cry you control the stolen verdict crana.
Yes, I blame.
I'm for trouble Eduboy. Edin attempt. 96 President Kufoko ya amfa. I'm for trouble. 2000 by you win you be President Akufo-Addo by 2008 candidate Akufo-Addo. I'm for trouble on the part.
I'm trouble.
And I cry and I arrogant and I say the
brofo
2012 you lose
the brofo quite the trouble
the trouble baby or two ni ma kra na the trouble 2012 you lose and the trouble 2016 you win and baby ayi di 2024 you lose and it's expected to be trouble Dr. Bawumia. However no you trouble Dr. Bawumia and we have to be minded about nyama ye kan ye kan and nyama ye kan ye because obia nim say going into the 2024 elections say MPP for bi ni manu asem and yet the year campaign to Dr. Mahmood Bawumia. And the discredit Dr. Mahmood Bawumia. And the coup Dr. Mahmood Bawumia ehufi. And ye young crowford ni be MPP crowford penny for MPP penny for being some more kind the good Dr. Mahmood Bawumia ehufi. Now
a man disposed so
good. Again, go on. You're two about here. There's been a lot of research. Me makwa about 6 regions. You're two about here. And then crowford din komo. MPs baby akasa. Ye to abawie ye no ye party nankasa esijina ye say ye Professor Kwe report. Asante Regional Party ye party ne nso no ye report. Conrad Abad for ye right wing usual political party war Germany ye report.
If I to report to put them a kind
yeah ye poster Musa Dankwa so your report in sa report mu nia e bia no MPs ni bi so your report bo so me frem
academics ayi bi so
University of Ghana for so lecturers ni bi so your report na report ni bia ni we ka say MPP ye lose 2024 because of the candidature of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia or because of the tribe and religion of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Me pacho what you say?
Yeah.
E bia ni wa e ka sa name reasons ntia obia nim say ye lose ya research na confirm ni say reshuffle no reshuffle. Ghana for some per reshuffle abai na anya reshuffle. Ghana for some pay e-levy abai ni the e-levy buy. Ghana for some pay betting tax abai ni the betting tax buy. Ghana for say Russia Ukraine war na affect MPP na ma cost of living e kosoro 3 days to the election ye to fuel mu eduane bo kosoro kania bo kosoro cement bo kosoro cost of living generally e kosoro e ba Ghana for bufu ye internal party matters chairman ni DC nkasa DC ni chairman nkasa PC ni DC nkasa PC ni chairman wo problem e affect ye ministers are no money party for lose touch ministers e placement e bo party for etrimodern e ma party for bufu ye ka say yenkoto abama MPP chairman for a omo pe placement am omo party for omo anya to the extent say na am for tueska and say no omo placement e ma party for am for ton recruitment slot e ha MPP say no money near ha MPP near no na nda president candidate Bawumia enaso. There are a lot of reasons in here you lose here. It is the propaganda and the concern the lies say candidate Bawumia and His Excellency Bawumia, the religion and the tribe into the lose here and you're not correct. Another reason here the supporters are claiming they say you got to abandon out of 276 constituencies. In fact, you better prime me say you Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, my mention is inferior. Only a Christopher 9 and a core contest. No me any pattern. Only a Christopher 9. MPP for essence say ye susu say and now ye say leadership is not about Christo Sem and Akrabo Sem.
And never be free.
Ye to Obama the only Muslims among the Christians. Emma obey ye flag bearer. Obey ye flag bearer no. Ye fielded 261 Christian candidates out of the 276. So out of 261 Christian candidates, over 60% Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia vote pieces are near Woho.
Wow.
Yes. Manso Dubia, Manso Kwanta, Bekwai, a lot of constituencies.
I think it's so crowd.
It's so true. A lot of constituencies. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia performed better than Mampong crowd. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia performed better than the PCs who are Christians. Yes, and it is because PCs Nisu Yajuma and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And it is not the case, say, Obiya Kramonintia. In any case, Ascent Central, around Japan Constituency. MPP candidate are no a Christoni. Only so ye NDC candidate are no a Kramoni.
Danjuma.
Yes, Kramoni the video as a central. And you cannot make the case say because of the religion in Tina Ghana for Antwerp manner. There be again vote election 2024 now. Send it to now. NPP ye lose with about 2.1 million votes. In Kofoa to Obama in 2020 no. Sound for na imu 2.1 million MP anko to aba ama MPP in 2024. Omo anto ama NDC so. Omo anto aba na kro moti na fie. There was a decline in our vote. And what NDC vote be count 2020 vote who was only 100,000. It is 100,000 be come 2020 vote who are omunya 2024. MPP so ye dey 2.1 million for ni ye pie be to aba. MPP win election. And in 2.1 million MP amber to abano. And then there was a team interrogated the entire MPP for MP amber to aba. MPP for in your G2 Muzena in your IC the Jawa system. A Jawa system, Nimintia her system no. A kahun entina system no, a kahun entina sister amount for party for a bufuye. Cordon, Nini Akamubi. Now again, among for some year another propaganda say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Some boko ni kusasi conflict no. Enti no lose ye. 1996 MPP ye call boko kusasi boko enclave ninia. Boko enclave ninia 6 elections na wo.
6 constituencies.
6 constituencies na wo. Hansa na member constituencies na so kra no boko kusasi ntokwa no. E sha se ni enwo Dr. Bawumia.
Nsenya nde.
Enye nne. Nti enya ade obi abetima ka se Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia nsa wo.
Enye nne.
Enye nne.
96 17 years
election 92 yenya 0 96 yenya 0 2004 na president Kufuor na president MPP wa bem ye call election boku enclave no 6 constituencies the MPP nya 0 seat. Yes, 2012 na ene Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na ye flag bearer in MPP opposition ye call election yenya 0 seat. 2012 yenya 0 seat. 2020 yenya 0 seat. 2024 yenya 0 seat. How do you blame Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for it? You see, the Boko enclave a traditional CPP zone migrated into
NDC zone.
It has never been an NDC zone. 2004 NDC MPP a winning election. Boko yenya 0 seat. So what you say? Among force who make it the case is say there are some police stations crowd Boko Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia nya 0. Again, there are some police stations in Boko. Mamprisi police stations are John Mahama sunya 0 because the Kusasis no enti me anko Mamprisi police stations na anko toaba and a Mamprisi nso enti me anko Kusasi police stations nso anko toaba enti na zeros ni it be bear mu no enti it is not the case say obi tribe and obi religion enti na yanya de in any case Boku Kusasi enclave Boku zone ni anomo toaba omunyo mu vote 30,000 vote any free hoba MPP medical can say a vote decline was 2.1 million. You find say nipa 30,000 in here to abama MPP near the 2.1 million no. There was no way we would have
won the election.
We would have won the election.
Yeah.
But what did they make? We got 2.1 30,000 ends won 2.1 million.
That be that.
And you know say concern amount for the it's not supported by any data. Again, among for said the concourse say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia when we need Zongo police station ba ko pen win
almost win by him
a futu Zongo police station ban win meanwhile Abetifi lorry station Zongo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ne win here Tafo Prankro ni Zongo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ne win here. In fact, in the Zongo police stations we performed better in 2020 in the Zongo police stations than in 20 we performed better in 2024 than in 2020 and 2016. It is not the case to say Zongo for no ambambe to aba ama Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And also another propaganda was say ya de to nche na Gordon
minia
ebinim ka say ye de ye ba be create jobs me factory farm for 4,000 me factory farm for 2,000
beba ho before then no accusation ba ko so say an wɔn a wɔn edi Dr. Bawumia akyiri nyinaa no previous government na wɔn wom etomo do mo didi amen ɛna afei na wɔn mpɛ so mo sɛ didi biom nti na mo ba mo na so no na mo gye adwuma nyinaa yɛ ade na wɔn afa adwuma na mo yɛ afei de wɔn aso mo hia mo a you don't know how do we respond to that.
Typical example me say me to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia abanda da say na me nim
that say be na fa chebe that na usa.
Oh, but say so na say na me nim so what you say
yeah
na me nim enti no sa claim no there are people who contest election now they were part of the government or not by the champion abai no he with the ministry with about 3 different ministerial positions why a minister of state or national security da I a minister of state or minister of interior as I a Greek minister da
cabinet minister
he's an integral part of the government abai she say na ko parliament e di tumunya e-levy betting tax na dia dey na honorable Kennedy Japo was part of it.
No, for example
there be honorable Kennedy Japo
as a parliament
yes enti abai no politics are Ghana for bufu yen about e-levy about betting tax about say nobody near Ghana for so no money enya adua your parliament no ko G2 mu. It was a collective decision the majority at the time of which the honorable Kennedy Japo was part of energy 2 mu.
In fact e-levy no ko put there na yes no di Ghana
it was a collective
effort. No di Ghana nti yem say that be dru na we needed numbers no yem say o money facilitating na maybe
they couldn't make a statement to say maintain statement bia honorable Kennedy Japan aka say or support e-levy and non support betting tax nti abai ni failure that's abai ni failure because we didn't get some of the decisions right at parliament G2 mu he was part of it.
Okay,
honorable Kennedy Japan was part of it. Honorable Kennedy Japan as a board chairman for Ghana Gas was part of the government. Educhum as education minister was part of the government. omo contesting election in one way or the other benefited from the government or was part of the government. Ebinum executive contract were buying him, they were part of the government. Now obi appointee were buying him. Na say any obi or executive street light contract to over $700 million. Nipa me why na benefit were buying.
Lateral crowd benefit more.
Absolutely. You know, we shouldn't say no obi were buying him into nipa Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia anche on pamono. Nikofo no mo buying him no mo sustain grassroots for ni bi. E pay dwuma ma party for ni bi. People just what you say. I agree. So some of the CEOs were wicked. And I was here and more CEOs have been Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Obi anu a obetima boba ko mienu din say nkofo mienu we mu de no mu trimo identity no. And I say no me wicked people into no free campaign. We know CEOs are no mu trimo identity. We know them. Forestry Commission CEO and the MPP then the trimo identity pa. The trimo identity pa.
Well, ya lusu ko to the bia make kwesiti o. Me no to the bia. Minim nipa bia omo yo musibe ni trimu na ni trimu ye ne samugo ba ya busa mo say na me so be fa hefa because me de etore bia de wo kwa wo se wo ye ma no obeti so bizuka sibi the trimu odin entia na me put premium on that very much. I can tell you e ho papa no ngofo kwaji inu ya wo
me de tia make us and say ya ye MP tafo pankro no e kire say papa no
Vincent
no fio bia ono kro ya MP kra ko me de no krenya me ya wa ba mu manko minister bia hoda anko CEO bia hoda anko bisa favor enti me de me ntimi nka so bi bo metrimodi ana so bi ye me papa me de me manko bia nchen anko bisa me de na godo me ne wa na ye ebuma ye bre
ya asemo opposition in government
ye bre anko minister bia nchen ko me my executive contract once the crowd abai mu na me nya adwuma oba bia na me de me mu keke enti no sans me so de ade a perception na in any case
now the minister bi ye call ase north no ye call ase north ba ye ba ni week pepe na me fishi ni nyina nsi kakra but na me hia bo kakra na me ka che minister ba ko bia che se me gini di pa kwese ne dana areho me ka che na no oh we die na se we die se me ba mo antente because escafo kra se be omu fishi a omo na mfo abo mu ntineja ene wo di nyame adoma adwada na me se ba chomati adwada me mfre no na ma frɛ no was meeting ka or cabinet meeting and okay jana ma so cabinet ko Tuesday na ma frɛ was me ebo pa be 11 me frɛ no was me frɛ na be 4 times one pick be jai a whole man wa frɛ me the secretary this who God the minister say who call no or cabinet into we be from me patcho be dase say je boom a whole man be 30 minutes alone one mu na sa frɛ me oh me catch wo say me catch me secretary so one frɛ say me wo cabinet meeting we be frɛ na me see you mate cause sa back and forth now one day na me ne the road that be office ni edi nkomo fa sa disappointment se den kofo si disappoint ye eni ade na me ka be ma example me so emu ti ye di nyame ade ye fe ni nto omo so am so ka me nya last call because me hold by be friend now very early in the morning be 8 me friend na me body dia na me say oso wo adwon say na ne wan ko be no so ne de wan ko be bi office na me say ne de me ba ho nti me sre no that the ponko cry me de be se den ya me kai ti meba be 9 me kasa na what's oh enye ai enche bia mepie enti no be ko ba bia afina obi e da form obi be sie kabase mende enti e wo ho ye first ye sa ne ma no waka obi a virtually is late in fact injira kwa breje Japan race mitaga so no penna e bia minimum the direct benefit from the party. But can you even say NPP as you know one benefit as a person for talon here or also here a press secretary? It's one way or the other. A part of Twasso.
No, go down. Sans some number for Caninia. In any case, okay, on our buying a champion and Kofi can when she benefited from a buying. Pious AGD or benefit or buying one benefit because the problem better buying.
Pious cry what the post bear me and someone
or the deputy information minister. The deputy sports youth and sports minister.
Oh, we could DCU. Why? Meboa.
NDC or YE.
No, NYE. National Youth Authority. Yes.
Obi Odi Deputy Sports Minister Kra was the problem ebrea.
Say ni jenipa.
Nelson Nelson na okana ho na Ashanti region me fini say name. Nelson or contested Ashanti regional secretary Kra. Ono so no a deputy YECU.
That's what we fa.
Oh Brian, ono a youth coordinator.
Oh sir.
Ono so was part of that by.
Nelson Konomi Junior.
Aye.
Wesley College I think.
Me bra
Eric Chum.
Ono no a part of Abai no.
Of course. Aye.
Omo corruption scandal BC initially President Akufo-Addo Pamo in the early days of abortion na me no so ka Abai no.
There be no rule ho. No ye.
No.
One de no wo asama kese ma woman no. Wasama kese ma me na wo se okwa NDC no.
Oh okay.
One no so me officer come institution no.
No so ka Abai no. To hwe amanfo a.
Ana Kwesi Agiman.
Kwesi Agiman. Ghana Tourism
Authority. Yes.
So ka Abai. Ofa MP for Nyami Kurom in price MP Kurom MP. OPK. Of course Tema Development Corporation at TDC no a board member ho. Ono so ka Abai no ho. Enti nkofo etwa ehia ne ho nia Charles Niteku a ono so ye Brand Champion head of social media no ka Abai no ho wo presidency
na a friend say Dokua Nana Madokua deputy information minister deputy trade minister
entu penkro ogrofo pa o ka Abai no ho pa
na Carlos Ahenkra former deputy trade minister
omo ka Abai no ho pa omo ye yi pa dia no ofoko onamu ke Japan campus so a ngofo di na chi na Alex Ampabi no deputy finance minister
yes
Kwesi Kwatin
deputy finance minister
no so ono kra de no ye Kwesi Kwatin no ye your friend is
no Kwaku Kwatin America no
Kwaku Kwatin chairman of the finance committee
before the no ye deputy finance minister and obe chairman of finance committee and Kwesi Kwatin so ye a spokesperson, the Minister of Education,
and a sticker, MP on
CEO, Maslock, Deputy Trade Minister, Deputy Finance Minister, Abna Osasare, longest serving Deputy Finance Minister, 8 years, solid.
Lawrence Ajesam,
CEO, Ghana Exim.
We have Baku Brian Hon, Deputy Labour Minister. Brobe
no so Dr. Branchabo. Oh okay.
Labour minister. And you hear?
I say ache. Obi enya kakra.
Atente wrote like to say cast former appointees ni dey. Omo no ye problem bia. Oh money obi awaka.
Oh, there will be.
And justification. But you see,
aka 2 minutes here.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Why Dr. Mahmoud?
Yes.
Okay. Ye Ghana political history.
Nyame me born dey nyame aduma teams dey anopa. Be ya faso calendar so me aduma teaser anopa movement in the morning e say wo ba.
No problem.
Yenko.
No problem. Okay your political history now. The political history no a reward consistency. A reward resilience. Ghana for obia nani den no more the presidency national. Intina obia apart from certain president obia what be the president bia or coalition lose you answer no be the president
na ka obi on ni dia Dr. Bamenko force na nya din o
enti na make say you test resilience
okay
resilience when nya din sanka Dr. Bamenko go lose election
or the sube kofie
there be ko akwaje appointment for World Bank
easily
na do World Bank so what you say but the resilience among what they tested the resilience in opposition
okay
I so be break it down and as obetima ye adwuma na enti obi a Ghana for to Obama as president bia no nipa no olusu election asa no ba be president ofa president Rawlings ono succeed in ho a ono 1992 ofi military rule ebedi president in 1992 a that time na Ghana TV ba ko pe na wa ha GBC o sori anopa to ema Rawlings nko a ono kwa na Ghana for nim no in 1992 into the team winning 1992 election 96 election president Kufuor ba olusu ye president Kufuor olusu 1996 election
yes
and obe winning 2000 election President Akufo-Addo ba 2008 olusu ye asa no be win 2016 election asa no 2012 MPP maneba bi asa no be win 2016 election
third attempt
now President Mahama no a certain president or a certain vice president and the president who ye in 2012 election dey Ghana electoral history I should have found count because and when this before and campaign there wasn't issue based.
Oh, say
say no more bought a year saying you any angels if you Ghana for 2016 or lose one Mali.
Yes.
1 million votes. 2020 buy a sanction. Me dey am kasi ye ni na wie the buy 2024 NDC force and the buy and win election
handsomely.
And to hear president be a waba bia no obi on the call contest and hand over power man. O hear President Kufuor on a Rollins call contest and a Rollins handing over power man President Kufuor. O hear President Mills Obaya on the President Kufuor call contest in 2000 and 2004 and a President Kufuor handing over power man President Mills. And a 2012 President Mahama Owu your twice no 2016 President Kufuor do beat President Mahama no President Kufuor do no President Mahama ko contest in 2012 and a President Mahama be hand over power ma Kufuor do in 2016 over 2024 President Kufuor do osande President Mahama ko contest in 2020 and 2016 and a President Kufuor do be hand over power ma President Mahama in 2024 and 2028 no President Mahama and Dr. Bawumia contest in 2024 no or not handy over power ama Bawumia the political consistency and Ghanaians reward political consistency ebiom godon me dem anusi no
that's it
ye the most prepared candidate what no who enya experience say obedi mampania Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and MPP ni bia or Dr. Bawumia t-shirt baby obefe bia obi anim Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ya marketing awi there are candidates in this elections there are some regions omuntu omunansi hoda Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia since 2008 has been part of your political election bia MPP akobia 2008 no running mate 2012 running mate 2016 running mate 2020 vice presidential candidate 2024 as presidential candidate. He's been part of 5 consecutive elections in this country.
Yes.
Obia ni Ghana has his year what's our political track record. Still now or your politics mo Ghana ha and now the 3 most popular politicians are first one the current president Otie Akunyaso. Second one the immediate past president. The third one Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The rank and file akolebia ni bebia onim Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's the most marketed candidate. He's the most candidate MPP for the surest bet, especially knowing say NDC for the new candidate by the 2024 elections after no mobile branding no ye be kafa Dr. Bawumia who be an NDC for can we now some of kafa no hu nia no mo say enya no kore so what did America na say it in going into the 2028 elections no say MPP for presenting we have a better chance of winning the 2028 election than any other candidate because he's the most winnable candidate. It is very clear and very obvious say in 2028 Oba ono no betimi ayeden e win power ama MPP.
Yes.
Intermediate the America ama Manuel Sidi say MPP ye pe power in 2028 dia ye surest best bet His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Na godo na sama me dem pese me ka kire ahwefo ehwe me ne MPP fo nia ne say obi anka na koma to ne ye. It is just a matter of time. Dr. Bawumia will be president.
I mean,
it is just a matter of time.
Inshallah.
It shall come to pass. And that time is fast approaching. The time for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to be president is fast approaching. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be president. And that time is coming. That time is fast approaching. Because Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has paid his dues, has passed through the stage of vilification, has passed through the mill of lies, has passed through the progress of bitterness, backbiting among for cancer. Ya to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia so a big crowd says they say the MPP for big crowd can say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia crowd yere crowd nye Ghana ni. So no money near Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia fame. Now Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be president. Okay. And the president now or the ideas. And Jessica, president be any or the bottom scabe Ghana ye. So also be creating jobs, I'll create jobs now your bottom scan are they Ghana for. I buy a home. God only say one interesting thing now. Yes, I don't come once and say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia through the idea of mobile money interoperability, it created 800,000 jobs. Was it 800,000 jobs? Me the Jamia met Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Because the data support him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Medasi. I was for the lawyer Constituency were ye aid to the former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and then Obaye Bedi and Kobono. I think Tuesday obeba anopa na obabetoa enkowo so na enkowo no ede na ehwe de seda kese be ma akalan GH Eric ne Masa Billy Masa Ebi and Billy mo wachema and of course me producer Adungu as that kese be akoma general manager Chris Okweku yedamu nyina as FM Golden Asare-Bediako na me aduma chine bi hia ko programs movement in the morning. Good night.